covering the last couple of weeks our guard, right, on the bottom. On Monday we got into how to pull guard, how to sit to guard, how to jump to guard, different ways to actually get to our guard, starting from our feet, right? Whether it's in a grappling situation or if we're worried about being strikes. Remember, jiu-jitsu is a martial art, right? It is self-defense also. You should be able to not get hit, get a hold of somebody and bring them to the ground so you can use your jiu-jitsu against them, right? Well, another scenario that'll happen in our guard that we haven't really discussed too much is the grounded opponent position of our guard, right? Where we have somebody above us right here, whether they're trying to hit us or they're trying to just pass our guard and wrestle with us and get to where they are. This position right here is an important one, right? So there's different stages to this right here. The first one is that one of the things is that if we're not trying to pull him into our guard or if he's trying to punch us, whatever the case is right here, that we don't necessarily want to stay right here. What if we want to get ourselves up and out, right? So we need to have a strategy. The first one is exactly what we did when we were warming up a minute ago, right? Standing up in base posture. However, when I'm watching everybody doing it, you're just kind of going, you know, how's that effective for what we're doing right here? So we're going to clean up the technique a little bit and use it when it's actually for. All right, one of the things you want to remember is if somebody's trying to punch me, I don't want to get my head any closer to them. Every little bit I get closer to him right here is closer I am to getting punched or kicked. So when I'm standing up right here, my head doesn't necessarily have to get any closer to him. Right? It's just a matter of where I put my hand and where I sit up to. So wherever my hand goes is where my head's going to come up to. If I put my hand down right here as I sit up, guess where my head's going to come up? Right where my hand is, really close to him here. So when we think about this, I should probably put my hand away from him. So instead of rocking up right here, instead I'm going to turn myself to my side and put my hand out. Does that make sense? So when I do this right here, all of a sudden my head never got any closer when I was getting up into my position, whether it was for grappling or being concerned with strikes. Does that make sense? So we want to clean that up. We want to use this for what it's actually for. We want to get the muscle memory proper so that if we ever do get knocked down and somebody's above us, oh no, we need to get up. How do we do it safely? This is how. Or even in grappling, you push the person off, get up and be in a safe grappling position. So a great way to practice this is having him be right here, and he's going to bend over and put his fist right here. Does that make sense? So when we go to get up right here, we need to make sure that we're getting up properly. If we don't, we're going to run our hand right into here. Easy way to convince and remember ourselves. I know, yeah, our front foot right here is going to be on his shin for this thing. Get myself back down. So grab a partner, standing up in base proper posture. Robert, go. Think of this drill right here. Right? You do it that way. So that way if you ever do need it, or it ever does happen, you're doing it properly. That's the muscle memory you want to build. Getting ourselves back and out, not rocking up towards him where he could kick our head off our shoulders, right? We don't want that. All right, so the first thing we were dealing with was standing ourselves and getting ourselves up and out. I always have this option when I'm at his shin right here. You see the distance we're at? This is a different distance than if he pulls my foot up, gets closer, whatever the case is. Now we're with my feet on his hips. There's different options right here. I'm not going to try and stand myself up and out right here because that just doesn't make any sense, right? So the first distance right here, one of our options was getting ourselves up and out right here. Our next option at this distance right here is just going to be doing that what's called an S-sit. It almost looks like we're starting to do the same thing, but on this one right here, I'm going to take sorry, do this right. So I'm doing the same thing right here, but this time I'm kicking my foot back, behind, and I'm putting my shoulder against here. So I have it leveraged and caught at the bottom and my shoulder up on top. Now, is this a great place to be for me? No, he almost has my back right here. I'm in danger of a triangle choke. I'm in danger of an arm bar, all sorts of different things. So I'm just taking him down temporarily, but I'm immediately clearing this arm up and through to start fighting for maybe half guard, but I'd rather sag my hips down and clear myself all the way from my side control, right? You should always have enough control control to do that. We're not shooting for half guard here, we're shooting for side control. So we're still at our distance where we have them controlled on our shin right here. And all I'm going to do is take, not grabbing, letting this come behind right here, my shoulder. It's coming up. I'm not doing this right here. I've actually put my shoulder against his thigh. All right, taking all the way down. As soon as I feel it start breaking, where, oh, he's going down for sure. My left arm is clearing. Staying low to clear my leg. And then working myself up for my good side control position. So one more. So we're right here. So grab partner back and forth. Let's go.
Rolling
don't do
bar.
He's going to hit you in the back of the head. Alright, so, okay, so the first two we've done at a range where our foot was on his shin right here, right? But that's not always realistic. Sometimes he's going to get closer. And if he does, I always want to try and keep my feet clear, and one on his forward hip is going to be best, and my other one right up in his face. Why? Because go ahead and punch me.
Right? Legs are
if I keep my foot down here, he can punch me. If I do it over here, if I'm putting it on his other foot, he can always punch me. And he can always close his distance to grab my gi. If I keep my foot up in front of his face, even if I don't touch him, it's harder for him to do any of those things. It should be easier for me to set up what I want to do. Right? Even if what I want to do is just push him out to a farther distance and stand up or take him down like we did a second ago. Or when somebody goes right here, as long as I'm keeping myself in a good, safe posture right here, I'm always looking to draw him in a little because I want his heel down here. How many times have we done this from how many different positions? A lot, but it's because it's here all the time. When somebody stands up, rarely do they stand up square. They're always going to have a foot forward. And if we're ready with a foot on his hip and a hand for his heel, we can always make our easy transition from right here. So this time he crowds us. He starts playing with our feet, whatever the case is. Just getting a hold of his heel. Straightening this leg, straightening both legs. I'm not pulling back right here. If you do that, it's going to help him and hurt you. I'm just straightening both legs. I guarantee you, he's going to fall over. When I come up right here, I'm coming up in my open guard posture with my elbows to my knees, one knee up, one knee down. And one of my favorite parts about this is if I do this right here, how can he counter it? Stepping back and getting himself out. It's usually just going to lead to me standing up anyway, right? So, first thing we're practicing is we're just going to grab a partner, have him right here, moving our feet around, keeping them on the hips, moving ourselves right up here. So grab a partner back and forth. Go.